Alrighty, we're in the Hoodoo 3, and this has been on for probably 3 or 4 minutes. There's 2 amazing cotton balls in there, and this initial light up is probably the trickiest portion of it and the smokiest portion. But at this point, we know that the stove works well, we know the chimney works well. The bypass is just a quick bypass with carbon felt and some aluminum barbecue grating that we're going to just wrap around it for tonight. And if it works well, we're going to make something that we can just slide on, a sleeve that just slides on. At this point, the tent's already heating up. It's only been minutes. Alright, so we took the aluminum barbecue grating off of the carbon felt that was picking up too much heat from the felt. Now with just the felt fabric touching the nylon, it appears to be fine with dissipating heat. Just underneath the stove here, it's pretty hot. I mean, I can keep my hand there, as you can see. Not uncomfortable, but certainly hot. And we're just going to keep an eye on this. And we're burning off a little more residual paint. And we'll see where it goes. Alright. Can't get my feet any closer than that. It's really hot. I'm going to get a thermometer and check out the temperature in the tent. We're working on 36 degrees outside, 68 degrees in the tent, and that's up here. It's clearly about 90, right where my feet are right now. So that seems to be holding up just fine up there. We've been out here about a half hour, and I can't even keep my feet that close. It burns. So we'll get back to you. Practical use of a mini keg in a tent. You can take a look around. This is the Hoodoo 3. REI puts this out. It's a larger tent, and I just wanted to test a mini keg in a larger tent. Something you use car camping, of course, and just to see how it would work before we tried it in anything smaller. I'm thinking that this side of the tent here, what we would probably do on this end of this vestibule is just tuck in a piece of a space blanket up in the roof there, that triangular patch. There's one on either side, here and here, and we'll tuck in an emergency blanket, let it droop down under the sleeping bags. Our heads would be up this way, and our feet would be down this way. We've got ventilation from under the vestibule down that end, and ventilation coming in here through the ceiling as well. So any issues with too much heat or lack of O2, we've got plenty of ventilation. This is a full mesh door at this point. If we wanted to drop the space blanket a little bit, we could, but right now we've got lots of airflow. The temperature at this point has reached 80 degrees. It's 36 degrees outside. I think you can see that. And it's sitting here, which is, of course, the highest point. And there's ventilation. I mean, the fly is on the outside of this. You get some airflow going on. It's much hotter than that. Here, within 3 feet of the stove, it's got to be clearly in the high 90s. Next to my feet. I put some Reflectix under the stove, and the Reflectix is very cool to the touch. The bottom of the tent was absorbing the heat, and the nylon was getting pretty hot. But at this point, this Reflectix is actually very cool. So I'm going to be cutting a larger panel of this to be putting under the stove. It's very lightweight. It can be tucked into the stove itself. And the the carbon felt appears to be working well surrounding the chimney. I'm going to modify that with a spacer between the chimney and the fabric. Work on that tomorrow. You're certainly going to want something a little on the larger side. So this is more like car camping or backpacking. If you're only hiking in, an hour or two, it's not a big deal. And when it's 30 degrees outside. It's kind of cool to have this. That's how it burns. Check that out. Okay, it's getting hot in here. As you can see, I'm getting ready to peel down, and 90 degrees, and that's right here in this area. The stove is there. You're looking at about 32 inches from there to there. Whew. And it's heating up. Oh shit, is that on? Whew. Yeah, it's warm in here, man. You can just sleep. Guys, 98 degrees, and that's right here. I'm guessing that if I even put that thermometer anywhere near the keg, it would be well over 100. So it does work. You have to be safe. Not too many guys are going to want to compromise their fly and cut out a vent. So I just thought that this was the most practical way for someone to do it. So you're going to need a tent with a vestibule. You need some ventilation. And if I had my way, if I had a solid door on this side, I would have it up about 3/4 of the way. So I'm just thinking that some mylar, aluminized mylar, tucked into those folds there, like I said, would be the best thing. And you could vent at your discretion. And it's even an option for putting down in that area. There's a gap of about 6 inches down there. You could actually use some mylar on the outside, or if it's snowing out, you're just going to build up a little bit of a snow mound there, and you're going to be golden. I haven't seen anyone on YouTube with a, usable, practical mini keg for a tent, and I think this one does it. Okay, a portion of the tent, the divider, we've got a small melted spot there on the mosquito netting, and to alleviate that problem, this reflexit panel that we have underneath the mini keg, we're going to make it twice as long so that the legs are standing on it. It's going to go 6 to 8 inches in front of the stove to, for protection from any sparks or embers. And it's going to go behind the stove and under the chimney and back out to this area where we can put a rock on top of it and keep this suspended downward. Most tents are going to probably have something along this line that you're going to have to deal with. And this reflexit, it is very cool to the touch. What's happening is I didn't seal the edges of it so that the hot air is just flowing right through it and cooling off. So if we do the same thing with the back portion here, this isn't absorbing any heat. You'd think it would, but because of the air behind it moving around, it's staying cool. So that's how we're going to alleviate that problem. 100 degrees. Put it back. Alrighty. I'm about to put up a piece of aluminized mylar just to see how the venting options and how well that'll work to block some of the breeze from this door. Yeah, so we put up some aluminized mylar up on this, blocking the door a little bit and reflecting the heat back. Dare I say, you don't even need a sleeping bag, maybe just a sleeping pad. Closing. Okay, so in closing, I'm thinking that we're going to buy a longer threaded rod and make the legs a few inches longer so that it'll be above this divider where the door is, between the door and the outside, that kind of area that you have to step over. We'd like to be a little bit higher than that with the T portion of the chimney, as well as inside the tent. The heat accumulation underneath is pretty dramatic. The reflexit is working terrific, but we'd probably even get more of a heating effect if the legs were elevated a couple of inches. So that's what we're going to do. We need to complete the bypass for the tent fly, elevate the legs a couple of inches, make the Reflexit mat about 6 inches wider and a foot longer, so that it goes directly under the chimney as well. And I think that'll be it. And this emergency blanket here that's behind us is a must. It actually feels like this heat, you can really feel the heat bouncing off of it. Works terrific. So if we had one on the other end, we could fashion a piece of Reflexit, a tri-panel that fit behind it, and reflect the heat back in this way. I think that's another viable option, especially for the type of camping that you're going to be doing when you're using this. It's going to be winter. If you're in a tent this big, you're not really backpacking very far, if at all. You could be car camping, you could be backpacking short distances, and another 6 to 8 ounces of Reflexit isn't really going to matter. And as far as weight in your pack, and I think that it'll have a dramatic impact on how much heat is reflected back into this tent from behind the stove itself. All right, stay tuned. I think we're going to have to make yet another video.